Well, today we're going to take you guys through the process of processing your game, cutting them up and grinding them down and stuff, and doing your own meat instead of taking it to a butcher and spending all that money. I'm going to be learning today. It's my first time doing it with a grinder and all that stuff and doing it proper. Justin's going to go through the steps with me and teach me how to properly do it, so you guys can follow along with that and learn how to do that for yourselves as well. And we'll break down each individual part for you guys and really go over what we're doing exactly and why we're doing it that way.
So setup for all this is pretty simple. Some people like to cut on wood, cutting board, folding table, it don't matter. I like to have clean surface, so I get me a clean piece of cardboard. I'll tape it to the table so that way it doesn't move. And then you're always going to want trays. So your burger, your steaks, everything will go on a tray. I always use two of them, one smaller one, usually for the burger, bigger one for steaks, or vice versa, however you work. I use the tray liners, just keeps everything cleaner. In my Folgers cup here, I have water with rags because biggest part of this is keeping your meat clean. So right here, okay. So on a hind quarter, there's lines that you can see. So this is one section, this is going to be another section, and then there's the hock up here, and then same thing on the back side. There's lines that you follow. So like you got a big one here, you got another one here, and then another one here. And the fat is really hard to see the lines through, and this deer is really fat. So, you know, you can easily start by just trimming the fat off if you want, or you can go ahead and already start cutting into it. So I'm just going to go ahead and start cutting into it. And then just, like I said, just follow the lines. And there's no right, wrong way of doing everything. You know, you can always change it up depending on what you want. Like if you want roast, you can start trimming up from the beginning and go from there. Once you open it up, you'll start seeing, like, get in here, and you can see you follow this. So you saw like all the little sections right here. You want to follow all that, and once you follow that, you'll be good. You'll be able to get all of it off. You have your meat off the bone. So we let this deer hang for 5 days.
Yep, 5 days.
So when you hang it for 5 days, you're going to get this dark colored meat. So you want to trim that off, and then all the fat, and then the silver skin, and then there's a lot of this like tendon, just stuff that you don't want in your meat. So you want to trim that all off, and then huge thing, there's hair all over it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim all of it out, then I'll grab my rag so that way I don't dirty my water too bad. I mean, I can always go in and grab some more water and everything, that's not a problem. But, you know, I still want to keep my water as clean as possible. So I'm just going to go ahead and, it doesn't matter what you start with. So, you know, there's the pile of meat right here. You can just grab whatever. So Brady grabbed a small chunk here, and this one's going to be pretty much all burger. I mean, there's not much to it. And he's just going to trim. He's got the fat pieces here, and then there's some dark meat here, and then see how there's that layer of, I don't remember what they call it, but there's just that faint layer of
it's almost like the casing around your hot dog.
Yeah, basically. And you just want to
clear film.
Yeah, you just want to take your knife and just kind of gently go over top of it, so that way you don't waste as much meat as possible as well. There is going to be some waste. You can't get away from it. I mean, I got to cut probably a good portion of this off, just because you don't want any of this. This is basically mold. That's the best way to look at it. It's not quite moldy yet, but it's close. Which, don't let that scare you. If there is mold on your meat, it's fine. you're perfectly fine. It's only an outer crust. That is all it is. So, get back to work here. It's all cut up, 4 quarters, 2 back straps. You already tenderloins, everything like that. Got quite a bit of meat, say about 30, 40 pounds, give or take some. And all that's to deal with. You got to cut around some bloodshot. There's a lot of fat on there. Got to take all that in accountability. But hopefully, after you guys watching this, you learned something at least, something you can take away from it, or even if you just watched it, we appreciate it. And yeah.
If you guys like what you're seeing, please comment and like, share, hit the little, the little ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding bell on the top that will notify you when we post a new video. You guys' likes and comments and support really helps us to continue doing this. And thanks for following along.